Hey friends, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com, and welcome to our final installment of the 1 Hour Mix series. This has been a quick little free video series here on the site and on YouTube to be an exercise for us in hacking what's called Parkinson's Law to enable us to have more focus when we mix, so that we get better at mixing, not just so we mix quickly, but so that we understand what are the big wins, the things in mixing that really make a difference, so that you spend more of your time on those and less of your time on the little teeny tweaks that may give you 1% better mix, where you could spend less time on something that will give you 20% better mix, and you add a couple of those up and you can get better sounding mixes in less time with less frustration. So again, this is an exercise. If you haven't seen the first video, you want to understand what Parkinson's Law is, go watch it. It's a very, very powerful concept that I use in business and in other areas of my life, and I slowly, over the last 3 years, have been migrating into my mixing workflow. So today is the sweetening video. What is sweetening? Sweetening is finalizing your mix. It's EQ'd, it's compressed, you got the right mix bus processing, maybe the right ambience, effects, delays, reverbs, whatever. This is the final quality control check to make sure that every moment of every song is good to go, or every moment of this song in particular. This involves automation. This can be everything from writing vocals to automating panning to automating EQs to automating effects to muting things or adding things. There's a lot that sweetening can encompass, and I'll give you some more suggestions later. I've talked about this at length in some of my in-depth courses, but today I only got 10 minutes again. We've already done 50 minutes of mixing, and I'm going to do my final 10 minutes with a timer here. I got a couple of things I know I probably want to hit because I've been hearing them all along that I've been waiting for the sweetening phase to get to, and I have one other thing that I think might have been something I missed early on in this series that could drastically change the sound of something. So I'm going to take a look at that and see if I'm correct, if my hunch is correct. And if so, I will explain what that was doing and how you can avoid my mistake as well. And if I'm wrong, then everything's fine. So let me mix, hit the timer, and then I'll wrap up not only what I did in this video, but some final parting thoughts for you as you take the 1 hour mix concept into reality when you're probably mixing for longer than an hour on a real song, and see how this can apply to your real mixes of your real music or your clients, and some other parting thoughts for you to help you with your mixes in the future. Here we go. Again, remember the song is Hosea by my friend Keelan, and this is a song we'd recorded 4 or 5 years ago. And if you like his music, you should definitely check out his album. He's on iTunes. And so thanks, Keelan, for letting us use your song, buddy. Here we go, 10 more minutes, and we'll finish up this 60 minutes of mixing. And speak so tenderly. Lead me to the field and speak so tenderly. To woo me back again and redeem someone like you. Like you.
Speak so tenderly. Take me in and clean me up. And clean me up. And clean me up. Clean me up.
Let's see.
And clean me up. Show me again, your love will not dry up. Take me in, though I put you to shame, you still call me by name. You has run away once again, back to the start. Though I put you to shame, you still call me by name. You leave someone.
All right. Very, very interesting. Okay, cool. So my suspicions were correct. All right, let me walk you through quickly the sweetening stuff, and then you probably saw what I was tweaking at the very, very last minute there. I've never had to sweeten a song in 10 minutes. This is very interesting. Sweetening is very subjective, so you saw me do a couple things. One was I went to the lead vocal, which in the quiet chorus, when everything drops out and it goes down to the acoustics,
Lead me to the field.
I just killed the reverb and the delay on his vocal, okay? Because it was really weird having the delay in there. It just didn't fit the context. It's a moment where the song gets real intimate. You could have just killed the reverb on the acoustic guitars as well and it been super, super dry. That might be cool too. So I just wanted that to be real dry here.
Speak so tenderly to woo me back again, redeem someone like you.
Contrast, right? Contrast is humongous. And so he arranged the song really, really well to have that. And also it really speaks into the lyrics of the song. You lead into the field, you speak so tenderly. So he has this moment where he sings it tenderly and really quiet and down an octave, which is really cool. So kill the reverb, kill the delay, and make a real intimate vocal, which we tracked in a walk-in closet filled with clothes to be a real dead, tight sound. Okay, so that was the main thing I did. And then a couple of echoes you saw where I copied and pasted some of his vocals to a second track, and I used an EQ to create a telephone effect.
Clean me up.
That's an easy trick. A lot of times I feel like there's a line that needs to be repeated and there's an empty space in the arrangement, then it can be tasteful. And in this case, I only did it once in the verses. So I copied and pasted and you just line it up until it seems to fit. And then I just wrote the EQ to the track. In this case, I use the preset that I use all the time on Pro Tools, stock EQ Telephone 2 preset. And it's just it cuts off all the low end, all the top end articulation, and it boosts something in the mid range, in this case 1.8K. So you get that telephone sound.
Clean me up.
Which is a great way to say this is not as important as the lead vocal, but I want you to notice that it's there. And that's it's a big part of the lyric too, the clean me up line. And then I did it at the end of the song too here. Redeem someone like me. So a huge part of the lyric, a huge part of the song, and so we're re-emphasizing the lyric there and filling in gaps because his lead vocal just mellows out when he goes up to the falsetto. So these were more creative decisions there. I felt like that could have been a part he could have sung or we could have recorded on recording day, but we didn't. So I made them by copying and pasting. Other things that I did, I turned up the volume of this interlude track, and I did that with automation, and I realized that I did it in both spots, which means this only plays here and it only plays here. I should have just turned the fader up. And then I changed the panning of this chorus guitar here. I had that pan up the middle in all the choruses, and then on the bridge came in where these two octave guitars come in here. That became the main lead solo, so I actually realized I could pan this lead part away from those to not overtake them, so I did a panning move here. Just gets them out of the way. Right, right? So I use panning automation all the time because there's no one right spot for panning for every track for the entire song. Sometimes a part needs to move out of the way or come in from the left to the right or something like that. Other things I could have done if it felt like this song really needed it, I could have done some vocal writing on his lead vocal. I've got the stacked compressors from the compression video, which already help, but a lot of times I'll spend extra time on a lead vocal to make sure every word is sitting right. That's super important. Now, what was the last thing I did here? Did you notice how I was fiddling with the drums? This is critical. I was thinking about this because this is something I do these days, is spend more time paying attention to the phase relationship on multi-tracked things like drums, multi-mic'd things, I should say. And so I felt the whole mix that, the drums are sounding thinner than I'd like them to be. And you notice that, like, I felt like the snare was thin. You can see, I've tried to use an EQ curve, if you watch the EQ video, to compensate for that. I tried to fatten up the snare at around 192. And sometimes when he hits it, it sounds just right. And then other times it sounds like it's real flat, like real thin. And I was really bummed by that. And then it dawned on me before I started this video that I bet there's some phase problems with the drums and the snare and the overhead that I didn't even take time to address. So I just wanted to check it. It's an easy check. And sure enough, it was true. And so I'm going to point this out to you as a bonus. You weren't here for polarity, but let me show you a bonus. Here's what the drums sounded like. And then I'll show you what we did. Very different, right? Take a listen to it in the chorus. You can hear the snare getting fatter. Listen to it in context with the mix too. Listen to the intro before, and then I'll click it on. It changes the tone of the snare completely. In fact, when I flip this on, it makes the snare a little too fat. It's probably because of my EQ moves I made. What is happening here? Well, you didn't sign up for this, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, like I said. If you zoom in here, I bet we're going to find out the culprit here. Let's zoom in. The top track is kick drum. Next track is snare drum, mic, and then the track below that is the overhead. Okay. Look at this. You've got, let me put it in slip mode. You've got the snare drum, when it's going down on its audio wave, the sound of the snare and the overhead is going up. Okay? This is a problem. Look at it somewhere else. Same thing. Another snare hit. Another snare hit. Snare is going up. It's going down in the overhead. It's going down. It's going up in the overhead. It's going down. It's going completely up in the overhead. What does this mean? This means that the overhead mic is canceling out some of the, a lot of the snare sound in the snare mic, or vice versa, because they're completely out of phase. You can listen to them together. Let's just listen to the snare hit. You hear that? You hear that weight of the snare come back? When I use this button, this is the in polarity inverse button. It inverses the polarity. It flips the polarity of the, I'm flipping the overhead upside down to match the snare. You could do the same thing. You could flip the snare upside down to match the overhead, and you get the same result on the snare sound. Listen to it again. Before. There is the sound of the snare drum, and I was missing it, and I was trying to compensate it by EQing the actual snare track, because that's what I was hearing, and that's probably why I did that. So ironically, I can probably now take this either out completely or way down, and we'll have plenty of fatness in the snare with less EQ needed. Some things to consider here as we think about EQ. EQ isn't just EQ, it's also phase and polarity and all these things. So I don't have time to really dive into that in this video and see if that was the best move, or see if I'm messing with the kick drum enough, or if there's other phase issues there. But I had a feeling that there were some phase issues with the snare, so I would probably leave that in. I'd probably take the snare EQ down a smidge here. Instead of almost 5 dB, take that down, maybe 2 dB, and make sure we're sounding good here. Very nice, right? So let's wrap all this up. Let's take a look at before and after, everything we've done here. And I'll let it roll through the chorus. And I'll just bypass everything. All the EQs, all the compressors, the saturation plugin on the mix bus, the reverbs, the delays, and any phase inverts we've done, and see how far we've taken this song.
Sad to say that my heart has run away from its lover. And once again, back to the start. Once again, I found another, and all the things you bought for me, I wear for other eyes to see. But you lead me to the field and speak so tenderly to woo me back again and redeem.
Huge improvement with only just 60 minutes of mixing. Imagine what you can do when you're not pressed for time, when you've got a little bit more time, and you've got a little bit more familiarity with your tools, and you're more familiar with the song, and you've practiced this, and you've created a flow and a system, a step-by-step method to apply these big wins, applying EQ, applying compression, applying ambient effects, applying mix bus processing, applying sweetening thoughts, and all that kind of stuff. This is what I'm trying to introduce you to in the 1 hour mix, is what mixing is all about. It's not all about tips. It's not all about tricks. It's not all about little teeny techniques. Unfortunately, that's what gets propagated in a world of tips and tricks generation and content creation. And I'm a culprit of that as well. I try to help you because there are tips and tricks that can help you. And so anytime I have one, I share them. I've shared hundreds and hundreds of them over the years. But I always try to make sure that as I'm sharing those, I'm coming back to philosophy, mindset, and complete whole strategies and approaches and methods for mixing, because the tips are like an isolated piece. It's like an ingredient. It's like focusing on an ingredient, saying like salt is the bomb. Salt makes everything better. But that's not true. If you put a bunch of salt on your meat, it's going to taste nasty. So knowing how much to use salt and when to use salt and when not to use salt because there's something else that's already salty, or you have to understand how to cook to use salt. I can't just say salt is the bomb. So it's the same thing with these tips and tricks. This video series is trying to show you how to cook, trying to show you how to approach mixing. So you can ignore the stuff that doesn't matter and hit the stuff that does matter. If this has been helpful to you, let me know. Leave me a comment under the video. Shoot me an email if you're on the email list. Let me know that you've taken something from this video. I need to know that it's been helpful to you. I spent a lot of time on this. These are longer than my normal videos because I literally wanted to spend 60 minutes of mixing in front of you and be able to explain it. So if you've followed this far, then you are getting the most out of it. Everybody else that's tuned out, they're missing out. And I'll also push you to something too. If this makes sense to you, if this has helped you, I have an entire course that I've been sharing with students, thousands, tens of thousands of students for about 4 years now, called Rethink Mixing, it's going to blow your mind. It is this concept, deeper, more fleshed out, working on a real song in front of you in real time, but being able to stop as we go and explain an entire full production mix, start to finish, in way more detail, with more opportunity to show you my step-by-step method. And this is like a small taste of that. This will help you, whether you take Rethink Mixing or not. This is going to help you. So go use this exercise and practice it. But if you want my best mixing training, I'll just point you to rethinkmixing.com, and you can just read up on it there, see what other students have had to say about it. It's one of my most popular courses because it actually helps people get results using the same plugins, the same DAW, the same speakers, the same room, the same converters, the same everything. It's just your method is jacked up, and it'll show you the best way to approach mixing that will help you get better results in your studio this weekend. So check it out. It's a huge resource that I'm super proud of and an honor to be able to share with tens of thousands of you all over the world. So check it out. If you have any questions on that, let me know. I hope you have a great week. I hope you actually implement the 1 hour mix. It's there for the taking. And if you'd approach mixing with a big emphasis on philosophy and method and focus, you'll get better results in focusing on technique and trick and gear. And that's what I'm here to help you with. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for your time. Go make some great music this week. We'll see you on another video soon.